Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to do 2 by 2 multiplication, and what I mean by that is a 2-digit by 2-digit, and we're using multiple strategies. So the first strategy that we are going to do is the traditional method, which is how your parents probably learned how to do this, and probably the first way that you learned how to do it also. Okay, so let's say we have 32 times 29. Okay, we are going to go ahead and cover up this 2, and we're only going to work with our 9 first. Okay, so we're going to do 2 times 9, which is 18. Put down the 8, carry the 1. Now we're going to do 9 times 3. So we started out with the 2, now we go to the 3. If there were more digits, then we would just keep going over and over until we used them all. So 9 times 3 is 27. Add that 1, and you get 28. Now you go ahead and put this on your paper, keeping everything lined up. Notice all the 1s, all the 10s, okay, the 100s. Keep them lined up. That's really important. Okay, now we exhausted the 9. Okay, we used the 9 as much as we can. We don't even need him anymore. You can cross him out. Okay, now what we do is, if you remember, we clean the house, right? We want to get rid of whatever we put up top, because a lot of people make a mistake because they forget that they've already used that. Okay, we clean the house, and that makes Mama happy, right? Okay, this really is a 0. It's filling in this place. Okay, you can't forget that, otherwise your answer will be incorrect. Now we can start. It's 2 times 2, which is 4. Our answer is going to go right here, right next to our face. Okay, that's 2 times 2. Now we're going to do 2 times 3, which is 6. We don't have anything else to multiply, so now we can draw our line, and we can add up. 8 and 0 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Put down the 2. Carry the 1. 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, now you might look back and say, well, why is this 0? What's that all about? Well, the reason why we put that 0 there is because when we're multiplying by this 2, we're really not multiplying 32 times 2. We're actually multiplying 32 times 20, because that 2 is in the tens place. Okay, and so for 32 times 20, it's going to be 64 with the 0 added onto it. So that's where that 0 comes from. Okay, that's one strategy. One strategy, great strategy. Use it if you like it. Some people don't, and lucky for them, we have other strategies that they can use. One of the next strategy is an open array. Okay, I find that a lot of people like this who have trouble with memorizing, or even have trouble organizing. Sometimes this is a more visual way of completing a multiplication problem. Okay, we have 32. This is what I tell you to do. Draw your box. Okay, and we're going to write 32. We're going to break 32 apart into 30 plus 2. Okay, now we're going to take this 29 and we're going to break it apart. 20 plus 9. Now, wherever you see your plus signs, go ahead and draw your line down. And I like to tell you to do that because once we get into the 3-digit numbers, sometimes people have a hard time figuring out where to actually put these lines. Now, what we're doing here is we're actually using the distributive property, which we're going to go into more detail about later. Your parents probably didn't learn about distributive property until they were in middle school. Okay, but that we're learning it now because it can actually help you to solve multiplication problems in an easier way. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 30 times 20. Okay, easy because we're using zeros. 3 times 2 is 6, and then add your zeros on. Okay, so this box is actually this 30 times the 20. Okay, that's what that box is for. So you go up, and you go to the left. That's how you figure out what you're multiplying. So now let's go to this box. We go up, so we're going to do 2 multiplied by the 20. Okay, what's 2 times 20? Well, cover up the 0. 2 times 2 is 4, and then add on the 0. Now we're going to go down this box. You go up to the left. Okay, so 30 times 9. Cover up the 0. 3 times 9 is 27. And then we add on the 0. In this box, we're going to go up to the 2, multiplied by the 9. It's 18. Okay, now we're going to add up these numbers. The great thing is that we use a lot of zeros with our numbers when we solve it this way. And the more zeros you have, I find, the less mistakes that are made. Okay, so in this column here in the 1s, we're going to add those up. We get an 8. We're going to add up our 4 and our 7, which is 11, plus the 2, which is 12. Put down the 2, carry the 1. Now we are in our hundreds column. We're going to add the 1 plus the 6, which is 7, plus the 2, which is 9. 928 is our answer. Same answer that we got when we solved it the traditional way. Okay, and our last method that we're going to learn about is called partial product. Partial product is similar to the box method or the open array method, except that we just don't use the boxes. Okay, so we kind of take these numbers apart in our head, or you can write them down. 32 is 30 plus 2. 29 is 20 plus 9. Now we just go ahead and multiply. We can multiply our tens first, so we could do 30, because we're really taking this number, times 20. We can 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 2 zeros, so that's 600. Okay, now we can multiply the 30 again times this 9, which would be 270. Okay, so we did the 30 times the 20 and the 30 times the 9. Okay, and now we are going to do this 20 times the 2, which would be 40. Okay, and then we're going to do the 2 times the 9, which is 18. So it's similar to this traditional way in that we have to multiply like going across. Okay, so we're multiplying 20 times the 30, and then we're multiplying 20 times the 2, and then we're multiplying 30 times the 9, and we're multiplying, but then we have to multiply the 2 times the 9. Okay, so you're multiplying all your numbers separately, and then you go ahead and add them up, and you're going to get 928. If you notice, these are all the same numbers as what we have over here in the box. You're just doing the same thing. They like to give you questions like this on a test and they might say to you, what number is missing? I recommend that you just draw it out in your open array and figure out what number is missing to figure out which one to put in there. Okay, this one, some people may like. I'm not recommending it. I like to recommend these two. Okay, but you do need to know this. You need to understand. In a question on a test, you might also have what number belongs in this box. So you need to know this even though you choose to use that method. Okay, we do expect you to know, or at least be familiar with all 3 strategies.